guys, welcome to today's Big Brother 18 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Kathy Briner Benton. Thanks so much for your support. I hope you're enjoying this crazy week. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so a quick recap of last night. Polly was evicted unanimously! Okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a negative Nancy about it, because, I hate being like that, but yeah, he had it coming, okay? He did. But anyway, we also found out that one of the first 5 jurors will be returning to the game, and that's crazy! They had a pre-jury returner and a jury person coming back? That's a lot, man. What if it had been Victor who was evicted? Whatever. Imagine Victor was on the jury, and then he came back again. That'd be crazy. That would be unprecedented. But anyway, let me know in the comments who you guys are hoping will return from the jury. Okay, so the feeds came back after the show last night to paranoia spreading throughout the house because on Wednesday night, the night before the eviction, Paulie was trying to set things up for Nicole and Corey, try to make sure that they're going to be safe for this week because it wasn't looking good for them. But he was pitting people against each other by saying this person is targeting this person and this person told me they're targeting this person, blah, 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 blah. And you would think it wouldn't matter or make a difference because who's going to believe anything that Paulie says? But these people were freaking out. So he was telling everybody, you need to target Victor and Paul. Everybody work together and take out those two. Of course, he wants, payback. So then Paul, Michelle, and Natalie were comparing notes in the storage room. And Paul's just yo, this Joker's not even here anymore. Who cares? Why are we even talking about things that he's said? So then Paul was asking Natalie, do you think that Nicole and Corey would be able to get into James's head? Because he's getting a little worried about it. He sees James spending more time with them, and it's kind of freaking him out. And Natalie's just no, you don't have to worry about James. He's not going to flip or anything. So then they tell Natalie, yeah, you need to make sure that doesn't happen, because that would be the worst. Okay, so then they all agree on the plan to still target Nicole and Corey this week, as long as they don't win the HOH. So Paul is saying, again, don't believe anything Nicole and Corey say. They're going to say anything that they can to be safe this week. They're desperate right now. So then Natalie and Paul, a few minutes later, are discussing this Paulie drama again in the London room. There's a lot of talk about somebody ratting out the plan to Paulie. I'm not sure if they're referring to the plan to get rid of Zakia the week before or the plan to get out Paul. It's very confusing what they're actually talking about, and I really don't think it's that important, but they kept nitpicking at it. And again, it was stuff that Paulie was spreading around to help out Nicole and Corey. So Paul, again, brings up, I'm a little bit nervous that I keep seeing Nicole talking to James. And Natalie's saying, you don't have to worry about James. He's going to stick with what we're doing here. It's fine. So then Victor comes in, and Natalie is complaining over and over about Paulie calling her a Venezuelan princess. And she's saying, I've worked so hard for everything I have in my life. I paid for my own boob job, and I'm proud of it. She's just going on and on about that. I understand, she doesn't want to be called a princess because she's a hard worker, but it was a bit much. So then Victor brings up the Paulie stuff again, and he's yeah, Paulie told Michelle that Paul and I are targeting James, and that's not true. So they're telling Natalie, if you're hearing that, that is not true. That is freaking Paulie trying to mix things up. So Natalie's just I know, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so then James and Natalie meet up on the Sky Bridge to discuss. So, according to Nicole, now, this is really complicated and annoying, so I'm going to say it slowly. Not because I don't think you guys can handle it, but for myself. So, according to Nicole, Paul told Paulie that James is targeting Nicole and Corey. Which, you know what? James was supposed to be targeting Nicole and Corey. But I guess they're saying that they don't like that supposedly Paul told Paulie about this. So they're should we trust Paul? Do we think he sold us out to Paulie? What's the deal here? I guess that's the plan that they were referring to. It could have been a number of plans, but now that I'm thinking about it, that makes sense. So then, anyway, they believe that, yes, Paul could have possibly thrown their names out there, sold them out to Paulie and eventually Nicole. And then they're like, yeah, we heard this from Nicole and we feel like she wouldn't lie about this. She's not the type to just drop names like that. Oh, geez. So then Natalie says, you know what? I'm going after Paul now because he threw my name out there and it's not cool. What? You're supposed to be going for Nicole and Corey. But they're still saying, you know what? Victor's okay though. Like, we're cool with him. I don't think Victor was involved in that, but we should freaking backdoor Paul if we win this HOH. Oh my gosh. So then Natalie visits Nikori's nest in the Tokyo room. I swear, they're freaking always posted up in that Tokyo room bed. They are like the freaking grandparents from Willy Wonka. No lie. Okay, so then, but you know what? The grandparents got up and like danced around, and I don't see Nicole and Corey doing that. So Natalie's asking them, like, what's going on with Paul? Do you trust him? And they're like, no. So they're sensing there's some tension there, and Paul could be on the outs with that group. So Nicole's just like, just so you know, like, Paul is the one that made up the FT's joke, and, he also brought up that date thing with Victor, and it was, like, really annoying, and he made fun of you the most out of anyone in the house ever. So she's throwing him under the bus, and Nicole and Corey are like, yeah, Paul is really smart. He went to Pepperdine, and we gotta get rid of him because he's gonna continue to plant seeds. And Natalie is hearing everything that she wants to hear at this point, so it's just fueling the fire. So then the feeds go down for the HOH competition, and I'll tell you this. Big Brother was all like, yeah, feeds will be back between like 10 and 11 Pacific time. Guess what? They came back a little bit before 2 a.m. Pacific time. You know what time that is on the East Coast? Almost 5. Yeah. Alright, so the feeds come back, and the house guests are covered in this disgusting goop. So we know now that it was the freaking black box competition, which is so much fun to watch. But I'm telling you, if I was in this competition, there would be a pee puddle underneath me. And everybody would be like, oh my god, ew, they like put a pee smell in here. And I'd just be like, sorry guys. So then, okay. We find out that Natalie, I know, it's for real though. We find out that Natalie won the HOH competition. So she keeps asking one like, did you guys throw this? Like, did I really just win? And they're like, yeah, like you won, we get it. So we also found out from the show tonight that Michelle had the advantage from the fair. But she was like one of the first ones out. She might have actually been the first one out. That's so sad. Okay, so then Nicole and Corey were having a game chat. And just so you know, Nicole is done with her super safety costume because she's not super safe anymore. But maybe she is. So she's done with that. But the other costumers still have a little while left because they got those after the POV. Okay, just saying, you know. So they don't think that Natalie's going to be putting them up at this point. They had a few conversations with her before the HOH, and she was all down on Paul. Honestly, they didn't feel like they were going up in the first place anyway because they freaking didn't have a clue. But Nicole's like, yeah, Natalie promised me that she wouldn't nominate me. I'm not sure when that happened. I'm not saying it didn't. I just didn't see it personally. It may have happened when the feeds were down. I don't know. But she's like, I don't think she's going to go back on that promise. But they know that Victor, Paul, and Big Meech will be pushing hard for them to go up on the block. And they noticed when Natalie won the HOH, those three were very happy. So, I mean, it seems like they don't think they're in any trouble. So Nicole's like putting that away for later. But they are really banking on Corey getting this week's care package. Like, they're pretty sure it's going to happen. And they're hoping that Victor and Paul are going to be going up on the block. Okay, side note. If you were not already loving Victor after the whole Baldwin the Eagle act, Victor freaking scrubbed the dirty-ass shower clean. Oh my god. He is a saint. Okay, he's always cleaning the kitchen, and for the longest time, he's just like, I can't do the bathroom. Somebody else has to do it. You know, I take care of this kitchen. But it was so disgusting that he was finally like, shit, man, I have to do this. I can't shower in these conditions anymore. I'm not freaking kidding. There was like a black film on the floor of the shower. It's disgusting. But he's a freaking champ for cleaning that. So, like, good for you, man. Alright, so then, Michelle and Victor were chatting about what Natalie's going to do this week. So, is she going to stick to the plan? and nominate Corey and Nicole, or is she gonna go freaking rogue? So Michelle's like, you know what, I trust Natalie. I think she's gonna do what we've had planned. And Victor he's a little bit nervous. He's getting a weird vibe. He and Paul were talking to Natalie earlier, and they were just like, we're gonna like stick with this, right? We're just gonna do what we planned out. And she's kind of giving them vague answers, and that, you know, made them feel really uncomfortable. So Michelle's like, well, Victor, if you are up on the block, I will use the power of veto on you. Okay, so then Natalie finally got her HOH room at 4:30. It was crazy. So she got a long letter from her mom. Her mom sounds like a trip, man. I would love to see a home segment with her mom, because this mom was talking about a zucchini plant and like making piñatas and like a tango class, and it was just great. I just want to hear more from Natalie's mom. But then it was time to get down to business. So Nicole stuck around to chat with James and Natalie up in the HOH room, and Nicole's like, here's how it is. Paul, Michelle, and Victor are all working together. They have a final 3 agreement, and I think that the 2 couples should work together. It only makes sense. And James and Natalie agree. Oh my god. Okay, so then Nicole is giving her usual spiel, like, Corey, no, sorry. I wasn't sure if I was going to do the voice or not. She was saying that Corey and her they're not going to go after them. They're a non-threat in this game. Like, they don't win stuff, really. They're not going to put you up. And then she's, you know, throwing Paul and Victor under the bus, too. She's saying Paul is smart, Victor's good at comps, they're a really strong duo together, we've got to split them up. So Nicole's saying, let's go Final 4 together, 2 couples. Great. So then, Paul, he doesn't like that Nicole's up there with James and Natalie, so he's like, I'm going to go check things out. So he goes up to say goodnight, aka to spy, and yeah, he doesn't like it. So he goes back downstairs, and he's just like, oh shit, man. Victor, we might be in trouble. So then it's Corey's turn to chat with Natalie and James, and it's pretty much the same stuff that they heard from Nicole. Corey's saying Paul's got to go. So then Natalie was asking him for specific reasons, because she needs to have the right reasons to share at the ceremony. She's got to have a reason for putting him up and like turning against him. So Corey can't really come up with any examples. He's just like, in general, like, Paul's a manipulator, yeah, doggy. So then Corey starts saying, maybe it should be Victor going, because he's a competition beast, and he's going on and on about how Victor, Paul, and Michelle have a Final 3 deal, and if they just ignore them, they're going to be handing them the check at the end. So Corey's like, you should freaking make a big-ass move this week and put up Paul and Victor. So then, speak of the devil, Victor stops in the HOH room, same thing as Paul, he wants to see what's going on, and things got awkward, it got really quiet, and it was so obvious what was going on. So then Victor reports back to Paul, and they're just like, oh shit, we're about to get boned, aren't we? Alright, so then it's just Natalie and James alone in the HOH room. It's time to come up with a plan. And she's like, I've decided I want to put up Victor and Paul, with Paul as my target. So if one of them gets the power of veto, Meech will be the replacement pawn, because she wants one of the guys to go home this week. And they feel like they can really trust Nicole and Corey right now. You have not... no! You guys have not interacted, like, this whole game up until now, I feel like. Maybe, like, here and there, whatever. But come on, what? Isn't that fishy to you? I would be really weirded out. Like, I see it could be a good game move for them, because with this other group, you know, there is a group of 3 plus them kind of on the outside. And with Nicole and Corey, it would be 2 and 2. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but it's just like, whoa. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Natalie's making a mistake here? Let me know. Also, I guess, like, Victor and Paul, yeah, they're really good at competitions, and we've seen that Nicole and Corey suck. So, yes, it is a good game move, I guess, for Natalie and James. It's really sucky, man. It sucks. Okay, so today, Big Meech got the next care package, which means that she is the co-HOH for the week with Natalie. So they're going to be sharing the room. Michelle was supposed to be a have-not this week, but now she is not. So that means the only have-nots are Victor and James, but that's not going to start until tomorrow. And then she's also going to be choosing one of the nominees this week. So that's pretty, whoa. All right. Also, there's kind of a downside to this reward because Michelle is not going to be able to play in the next HOH competition. That sucks. All right. But Natalie was really excited that she's not going to be alone this week. She's going to get to share everything with Michelle. I don't think Nicole was happy that Michelle got it. Okay, so Natalie and Michelle, strategy discussion time. They're talking about their different options. And Natalie's like, hear me out. I know we were planning on putting up Corey and Nicole, but she starts pushing for Paul and Victor. They're big threats. Paul's being really sketchy. He's been trying to eavesdrop on me. I don't like that. And Michelle's like, you know what? I've been thinking for a while now that it would be cool to get rid of Paul. He's a big threat. He is sketchy. But then at the same time, she's like, I don't trust Nicole and Corey. And that would mean that we wouldn't be putting them up. So Natalie's like, no, it's fine now because Paulie's gone, Zakia's gone. Nicole and Corey are all alone. It's different now. So then Michelle's saying, well, I don't really want to nominate Victor. Like, we're really cool, and I just feel like a jerk doing that to him. So Natalie's like, I'll do it. You put up Paul, I'll put up Victor. So Michelle's like, all right, I'm on board as long as Paul's the target. So then a little while later, Michelle gets her HOH basket. She got all her goodies. She got a letter from her dad, and everybody's just like, we already saw this room. Okay, so then another nominations discussion with Michelle and Natalie. This time Michelle's like, you know, I just don't want Nicole to skate by. She hasn't even been nominated yet, and I don't want her to just skate to the end. Also, she's worried that if Victor is up on the block and he doesn't get that power of veto, there's a good chance that he could go home because he is such a big competition threat. She doesn't trust Nicole and Corey to vote out Paul like they want. And she's also saying, maybe we should just stick to the plan because those guys aren't coming after us. They're going to actually protect us. You know, why are we doing this? So Natalie keeps pushing Paul as the target, and she's like, we're going to make a big move, yada, yada, yada. And she's saying, if we don't put up Victor next to Paul, Victor could go ahead and win the power of veto, save Paul, and then we're kind of screwed here. So she's like, oh, I guess. So then they decide, okay, if we're going to do this, we need to talk to Victor. Originally, Natalie was not going to tell Victor or Paul that they were going up on the block. I think that would have been really bad. But anyway, they pull Victor up to the HOH room and they tell him, you're going up on the block, but you're the pawn. And he's just like, what the F? They let him know, like, you're going up against Paul, he's the target. And Victor's like, what the frig happened to getting rid of Nicori? And they were just trying to tell him, like, how sketchy Paul is. And Victor was just like, not feeling this. So he's saying, like, even if you are going to put up Paul, why not put up Corey with him? Because if I'm up on that block, I feel like they're going to vote me out again. And I'm going to go home and it's going to suck. So then he's saying, put up Paul and Corey. And if you really trust me, like you say you do, I'll throw the power of veto so that they stay as the nominees. And then, you know, we'll take it from there. So they're just like, no, we're going to put you up. So anyway, that was that. Then the feeds went down for nominations, which have not ended yet. So nominations are going on right now. Check back later. The bottom of this info box, I will have the nominations. It's looking like Paul and Victor, which is not what I expected. But let me know what you guys think. This is a crazy turn of events, and I'm sure there's going to be some backlash from this. So let me know what you think, and until tomorrow for the Power of Veto, much love.
Edit.